So what's going to happen to that piece of shit Stephan Sterns in prison? The chomo who killed the beautiful 13-year-old Madeleine Soto in Orlando, Florida. Now, first and foremost, before I get to that part, let me give you a little bit of rundown on this case and who this piece of shit is. Stephan Sterns is the boyfriend of the mother of Madeleine Soto. He's being arrested right now for child pornography charges, sexual battery, and eventually he's going to get indicted for the capital murder and sexual battery of Madeleine Soto. It's a horrific case, and what they found in his phone shows years of him assaulting Madeleine Soto. And recently, a friend that he grew up with, who stopped being his friend, came out and said that basically he was living with somebody who found a bunch of disturbing child chomo videos on his computer and paid the guy not to say anything. Now, this shit just blows my fucking mind. So first and foremost, this dude was behind the mom, crying on TV. They find out that not only was he the last one seen with her, like a familiar case, just like that other piece of shit in Texas. Also, they found a bunch of child pornography on his phone, and that he hit the factory reset on his phone by accident. But of course, you can recover anything on a phone. Then they have him on video dumping the little girl's backpack and all types of other evidence in an area where they found her body. And another perfect example of a wolf in sheep clothing. This piece of shit worked at Disney World. So he slides himself in there, like all these pieces of shits do, gets around kids. I mean, they need to find out how many kids he truly abused. Sees a single mother, slides in there, and guess what? Is molesting and hurting their daughter until he eventually kills them. Like I say over and over, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody's heard what was going on. But it takes the ultimate extreme failure for anybody to do anything. I don't know what kind of relationship she was in with him, but you mean to tell me you didn't know that the man you've been with for 4 or 5 years, that you called the stepfather of your daughter, has these sick demonic videos of him hurting your daughter in his phone? You didn't hear from anybody that his friend got paid off to never say anything about the sick, twisted child pornography found in his phone? And his friend just took the money and let him keep hurting kids? It's the ultimate failure. She was let down by the people she trusted the most. Time and time again. You need to listen to your kid. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable you have to be, how crazy you look. You fight, you protect, and you kill for your kid. It seems like a lot of these parents are scared to do any of that and rather just keep it hush-hush so they don't ruin their perfect little social media life. Well, I'm a single father, and I'm going to tell you like this. If I'm with a woman and she's got these fucked up videos of any type of abuse against my kid, God forbid, I would have already known about it. My kid would have already told me about it, and that person would not be walking amongst the free or the living. Now, Stephan Sterns, this piece of shit chomo motherfucker, who eventually will be indicted for killing this beautiful 13-year-old girl at the prime of her life, the real beginning of her adulthood, her teenage life. You know, one of the best times to be alive, he took that from her. Now, where he's at in Kissimmee, in that small town, they come together and they will kill you, beat you, stab you, maliciously. The guards are going to beat the shit out of you. I mean, he's going to have a really hard time. Anybody that's been through Kissimmee or one of those small town jails and prison systems in Florida understand the COs. They probably know the little girl. Their wife probably taught the little girl at school, something like that. And the mother's blaming the school that she didn't know her daughter was missing until the school finally called her at 3 o'clock. Shut the fuck up. But back to it. So when he gets situated, the COs are going to be starving him, beating the shit out of him, spitting in his food, setting him up, having inmates run in his cell, beat the dog shit out of him. And in small towns like this, people don't ever forget, man. It's really heartbreaking. It's not like a huge town. I mean, no matter what, it's heartbreaking. But when you only have a certain amount of people in your town and someone does this to a little girl and has been doing it to people for years and years and years. Eventually, someone that works in one of these prisons is from that small town, reaches out to another CO, and they accidentally throw him off the top tier. They accidentally put him in the cell with somebody like myself or whoever, and the dude is never the same again. The dude's in a coma, and that's after they starve him. That's after they slice him. That's after they poison him. That's what his life is going to be like until he ultimately dies. And it might take 5 years, 10 years, whatever. It could take 2 weeks. You never know. But that is not tolerated in the prison system at all. And when it's in those small towns, there's so many people in prison from those small towns that end up in that same prison with you that cut your fucking throat. I mean, that's just the way it is. People need to stop failing our kids. Time and time again, nobody believes what's going on until shit finally hits the fan. Everybody wants to keep it hush-hush until someone dies, and then it's a tragedy. Fuck that. Protect your kids at all costs. These motherfuckers work at Disney. These are your basketball coaches, your neighbors, your boyfriends. You got to watch these demonic piece of shits. They come at you in the most vulnerable of situations, and they strike. And they get away with it for years and years, even when people are complaining about it. And nobody does anything until something has to be done. But this piece of shit is going to get it worse than anybody, because that town that he did it in, those people don't forget. It's such a small, isolated area that he'll get dealt with just because somebody's related to her. 6 degrees of separation in that town for real. Well, stay out, stay free. Us.